Hello, truth seekers. Lawrence here, and welcome to Easy Enlightenment. So far, you know that the nature of the consciousness is empty, it's without the layers, and you are that. Here's a similar reference to that is consciousness is not an idea, it's not a belief, or it's not the preference, which is the same thing. And I've also shared the process how to get to the truth of who we are as a consciousness, which is about reversing the mind, reversing the preference back. So the process is that, and here's an example. When you dismantle your preference, when you follow your preference back, you start to see your ingrained belief. And that belief is simply coming from the experiential world, the outer world. Every experience you go through in the world leaves an idea, and you repeat the idea that is supportive, and repeating the idea becomes the preference, and preference becomes the ingrained belief. So when you trace your preference back, you see the ingrained belief, and your life is happening from there. And the freedom from the mind is about dismantling the ingrained belief as well. So we have to let go that, but we are not able to let go that because of the support. And when we start to let go, then there's a fear. Then when we see the fear, we have to dismantle the fear as well. We have to follow our fear backward why we have the fear. And this is the way to trace your mind backward to go to the no mind. When you trace your fear backward until there's nothing more is left, there's no mind. This is the way to be thorough in one of the aspects of your life. And pretty much we have several attachment and fear, and we have to, because of fear and attachment, we fight, we control, and we have to look into every fight we have, everything we control, we investigate. And that's the way to be thorough in all aspects of our lives, and that's the way to prepare ourselves to see the truth. And when we do the work enough, and when we ask ourselves, who am I? That who am I is gonna make us catch ourselves in the process. That's where that's where the ego drops, and we become the consciousness. And that's the journey. But thing is that you are not there yet, because the work is still missing, isn't it? The idea, the reference is there, you are consciousness, but the idea, I am consciousness, is not helping to dissolve the fear. The fear is still continuing, the drama is still continuing. Why? Because right now who you are is the mind, including I am consciousness is the mind now. And when the mind is the reality, there's a fight, there's a fear, there's a conflict. And because of the suffering in life, we start to invite the spiritual practice in life, and we start to walk the path, some sort. But after walking the spiritual path, the fear is not ending, the struggle is not ending. And instead of ending the struggle, now there's further mental conflict present by becoming righteous. When you start to be part of the spiritual practice, you start to see things, and from seeing things, the idea starts to emerge in the head, and we start to become righteous. The righteousness itself is a sign of ego that has to go to be free from the mind. And if we are becoming a righteous, then we are pointing fingers at the world, how crazy is the world. And the pointing fingers in the world doesn't help us to dissolve the fear, dissolve the conflict. The inner fight can be dissolved by pointing fingers at the world. The finger has to point towards oneself. Why? Because the conflict, the fear, the drama is happening within. Even the fight is there, the conflict, the chaos is in the world. The chaos somehow leaves the idea, and we prolong that story with that idea. And because of that, there is a suffering in life. So that has to, the the pointing the fingers has to go away, and we have to point the fingers at ourselves to figure out why we point fingers at the world. We can also look into that. So basically, we have to work on ourselves to be free from the mind. Now, the process has started. That's why we are aligned with the spirituality. And when we start to be part of the spirituality, we have this process, this practice called meditation, right? And by being part of the meditation, definitely you have shifted your life from a struggle to less struggle, from a lot of fear to less fear. So you are becoming more aware, more confident, more clear in what you do. And meditation definitely helps a lot to be part of the practical world, because when you being part of the meditation practice, you are stepping away from the world, you are being aware of yourself, you're calming yourself is helpful, you're relaxing yourself, helpful. Also, you're taming yourself from moving everywhere, and you're controlling yourself, which is helpful. And you are also organizing the mind. Most of you, when you sit down in meditation, you're organizing the mind, how to be part of the world, isn't it? So all those work is helpful to be part of the world. You're organizing yourself, you're preparing yourself to be part of the world. And when you go out and be part of the world, you are bringing those revelation back into the world as you. And from there, you are rearranging the stuff and making things happen. You're bringing more support to your life. And from that, you see that meditation is really helpful. And pretty much people who are part of the meditation, they see this and they appreciate the meditation. They appreciate this journey. And it works. I get that. But this is where the meditation fails. Hear me out. What you're doing is organizing the mind through meditation, organizing the body through meditation. But true freedom, freedom from the fear, freedom from the mind, the spiritual freedom is not about organizing the mind. It's not about organizing your body. This is where we need to open our eyes. The true awakening to the truth of who we are and take the seat of the consciousness is not about organizing. It's not about rearranging. It's not about letting go of what you don't like and inviting what you like. It's not about that. Everything must go. And this is where everybody is failing. And this is where I'm telling the world that meditation only works to organize yourself, but it doesn't help you to dissolve the mind. You have to even let go the practice itself. All the technical practice must go to figure out who you are. When you are meditating, the consciousness is being part of the meditation. When you are meditating. And the more you add stuff in your meditation, the consciousness moves out to be part of the colors. And that doesn't help us to remove the conditioning that we already have, which is the fear, which is the conflict, which is the ingrained belief. So to dissolve the ingrained belief, conditioning, the fear, we have to observe ourselves. So witnessing ourselves is already awareness in us, is watching ourselves. We have to start there to be free from the fear. That we have to turn the awareness back to ourselves, and we got to sit with that. And that itself is not adding anything. We're just being who we are and watching ourselves with that. That's the start. And then whatever resurfaces in the mind that distracts us from who we are, then we have to investigate that. Every time you're sitting like this, watching yourself, notice something will resurface in the mind, and that will distract you. And when something resurfaces in the mind, notice how fast you narrate on that idea. Whether it's a daunting idea or a joyful idea, you make a story out of it. And when you start to write a story in your head, that is already, you have left who you are and you are becoming the mind. Just there. And being part of the world is further away from yourself. So, when something comes in the mind, distract you from who you are and who you are not, you have to investigate every distraction. And that's where you have to be part of dismantling the mind, tracing the mind backward. Just sitting down in the meditation and rearranging and waiting for the answer will never happen. Rearranging your mind is for the world, to organize yourself in the world, not to be free from the mind, because that itself is the mind. And some of the people sit in the meditation and they wait. They wait for the answer. They wait for something to happen as a big bang. No, it won't happen, because you are forgetting that you are the answer. You are the answer you've been looking for as consciousness. So when you sit in silence, that waiting doesn't lead you anywhere. Waking up to the truth of who you are, to take the seat of the consciousness, is a conscious effort. Tracing the mind is a conscious effort. You have to be part of that. Just sitting, doing nothing, and thinking that something will happen eventually is simply a fantasy, simply an illusion, added illusion in the person. Why? Because you have read the story, you have heard the story in the spiritual world that silence is the way to see the truth, to see the consciousness. No, it's not that. It's not true. It's an active process. Your awareness has to watch yourself to dissolve the mind. And then, when you dissolve the mind enough, then when you ask yourself, who am I? That who am I is going to make you see who you are. Sitting in the silence and doing nothing, you go nowhere. You go nowhere means you are ingrained with the mind, and your life will continue from the same place. And from when that happens, you're struggling, you're continue to have fear, you continue to be part of drama, and the fight will never dissolve. The fight which comes from the ego self, the limited, from the false self, that false self will never give the fight, because the false self, the ego self, is all about me, my, creating that my world. And that world is about fighting, controlling, resisting, or running away when we can't overpower the situation. And that will just make you suffer more. Because of the suffering, because of the fight, because of the turmoil, because of the fear, we are seeking spiritual practice. But after being part of the spiritual practice, we are still turning our face away from the truth by adding layers, or by waiting for things to happen. And things will not happen until you be part of the tracing back work. So trace your mind backward. Turn the awareness back to yourself and trace your mind backward. Here's a simple exercise I'll give you. Sit down and do nothing. Don't add anything. I know that sitting down and doing nothing is still something, but that something is going to help you to, move inward. That's the start. So sit down and do nothing. Just turn the awareness back to yourself and just watch yourself. Your awareness in you is watching you, and when you're watching yourself, you will start to give up because your conditioning will resurface in you, and your body starts to fidget, your mind starts to fidget, and you start to give up. When you have this urge to give up, then question yourself, why am I listening to this idea? Or why do I want to give up this inward journey? Question that and see how far you can trace your mind backward today. See what you can see. Or acknowledge that, accept that you have fear, you have attachment, and ask yourself, why am I attached to things in my life? Especially the attachment that you cannot let go, because when you just look at it, there's so much fear. So look into that attachment, or look into the fear direct. That's even better. Or just sit, whatever bothers you to get out of your practice, question. I know some of the things are important in life. You cannot just sit in the meditation. You have to be part of the life. You have to, make money, pay bill. You have to do so many things in life. Yes, those are all important. But still ask. Even those things are important to you. Ask, why is it important? Why? Why is the way to get to the root cause of the fluctuation, the root cause of the fear. And once you start to see the root, dismantle the root, using why again. Why my life is moving from that root. Keep going back and go to no mind. Make this as a foundation if you're really seeking freedom from the mind. Okay? I hope this video makes sense to you. I know you know that you are consciousness, you are the truth, but that concept is not freedom. To make it true, you have to let go the mind. You have to trace the mind backward. Even the highest meaning must go. I am consciousness gotta go as well. I am gotta go, because that is just an idea right now, and the consciousness I am is not an idea, and what you have right now is an idea. Idea doesn't do anything. Okay. Yeah, that's all. Thanks for supporting so far. Engage until the time is right, and then you disengage completely and you be part of the world. Have a little understanding before you disengage. Okay. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video. Take care for now. Bye.